welcome to this week's In Conversation. My name is Phil Jackman and I lead on CyberNorth, the Northeast Cybersecurity Cluster, developed by Dynamo Northeast and supported by Accenture and the Innovation Super Network. Each week, I talk to leading people from the cybersecurity industry across the Northeast. And today, I'm joined by David Horn, co-founder and CTO of CyberWhite. Hi David, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Phil. Thanks for inviting me on.
No, pleasure. Phil, can you start by telling us a bit about yourself and CyberWhite?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in terms of me, there's not really that much to tell, if I'm honest. I've been in IT probably since the mid-90s and focused on security now for probably just under 20 years. That's pretty much it. Outside of work, there's all the usual: married, 2 teenage daughters, a dog. Tend to throw a lot of time into extra activity. So I sit as a governor on a couple of schools. I'm a member of a local NHS trust, and I'm involved with a couple of universities on advisory boards. So plenty of stuff going on.
Yeah, not much then, really. So I think we first met about 3 years ago up at the Cobalt, I remember. And so CyberWhite is a fairly new company, if I'm right. How have you found starting a business in these times?
Yeah, well, to be fair, it's been an interesting journey. That's for sure. We're kind of 2.5 years in. It is difficult, starting from scratch when you don't have a brand behind to support you. Everything's new, everything's a challenge, and of course it's a huge learning curve. I think experience-wise, I've been an exec director for a number of well-known organizations prior to launching CyberWhite, and of course that provides a really good insight. But when it's your own money and there's no plan B, it's a very different ball game. And I think fortunately for me, I've got a great business partner, and we've been really able to support each other and take up the slack when it's needed, and I think that helps. But what's been even better, I think we've enjoyed some amazing support from clients who've shared our vision, and that was really important, and has been and continues to be important, because it kind of validates that you're doing something right. So long may it continue.
I think using your own money brings a huge focus to what you're trying to do. So we need more cybersecurity companies in the region. We've got in the 70s or so, but they tend to be small and sort of at the testing end of the market. And what support do you think is missing in helping create new products and new innovation to come to the market?
Yeah, I think there's perhaps 2 parts to that. I'm not sure that we need more cybersecurity companies in the region yet. I think on one level, the region needs to kind of awaken itself to the cybersecurity capacity that exists within the region already, because unfortunately, I find it quite sad when I see some of the existing organizations having to travel outside of the region, to be able to flourish. So I think there's a messaging issue there, and that's something that troubles me a little bit, and I'm not sure how we can address that. I think organizations like Dynamo do a phenomenal job, but I still think there's a long way for us all to go in that kind of raising the profile. I think you're right. The other part, of course, though, is about how do we create products and solutions within the region, and perhaps there's an opportunity there for closer collaboration between industry and academia. For example, we've seen some brilliant startups and technologies emerge out of like Napier in Edinburgh with some of the collaborations going on there. So perhaps there's opportunities there that would raise the profile and support the region better.
Excellent. Well, I think you're talking about that's exactly what we're trying to do, is to raise the profile and build some belief, I think, into the market. So your website describes CyberWhite as a disruptive provider of cybersecurity and risk mitigation solutions. What sets you apart from the competition?
Yeah, well, when I say disruptive, that's obviously our marketing team got hold of that, and they're a bit of they've got their own thing, right? But you're right. It's always difficult, isn't it? Because you really want to be saying we are the best, but the reality is, and I'm being very frank, we're all using broadly similar tools to deliver things, And so it is very difficult. And of course, many times when you try and position yourself as different, the only way people can truly assess it is by trying it. And that's always a risk, right? Because how do you do that, without taking the risk? I genuinely believe that our customer service levels are way above and beyond most of their organizations. And I don't just mean from a single dimension. I think from the kind of pre-sales, the sales, the post-sales, the technical, the project management, the finance, all those areas. Our clients know everybody, and I think that's really important to building those relationships. I think as well that we tend to be incredibly agile. We create bespoke offerings for our clients. For example, we've recently created a bespoke attack simulation tool for one client. It kind of went above and beyond what was already available in the market that really wasn't meeting their needs. We've kind of flexed and become part of another client to deliver security audit against their supplier base. So just trying to do things a little bit different, not just saying, oh, we're a testing company or you can buy this product. That's easy. I think it's really listening and trying to understand what clients really want rather than selling them what we want. And I think that perhaps is that agnostic approach is what sets us apart.
Okay, that's great. So we're in difficult times at the moment, COVID everywhere. Has this been a challenge or an opportunity for you?
Oh, both, I think, would be a fair assumption. I think when it started, it was a real challenge. We saw a lot of projects placed on hold as the uncertainty descended. And then it kind of migrated to absolute panic stations when most organizations push staff out to that home and remote working in a scale that could never have been planned for in terms of DR and BCP, because people plan for outages, they don't plan for pandemics. So that kind of created a number of new opportunities which did help, and I'm glad to say I think things are now slowly returning to some semblance of, I don't know if normal's the right word, but towards what it was. So I'm confident. I think that we'll see things return. I mean, despite the challenges, and there have been, we have seen growth, so we can't really complain.
Excellent, good. So in your start warm-up spiel, as it were, you said that he didn't do much and then went on to list thousands of things that he get involved in. You're clearly an evangelist for cybersecurity. It seems there's still a lot of work to do, though, to get the cybersecurity message out to intended audiences. In what ways can we help you evangelize?
Right, that's a great question as well, isn't it? I mean, I evangelize, right, because I want people to be safe, right? Whether they be children, whether they be the older members of our community. So I think we've got to reach into the homes. And I think if people can embed best practices at homes, then that will filter into their practices in business. So I think we can all make a difference just by talking. If we know, we don't all have to be experts, right? But we have to make people aware where they can contact an expert if they're concerned. So I think it just has to be. It has to be spoken about more. I think it should be brought into the curriculum, in schools. I think it's great learning how to code, right? But there's so much more. That isn't IT, that isn't security. It's very one-dimensional. So I think we can all do a part. Let's talk about it. Let's not be hiding the security element.
Well, that brings me nicely on my next question about bringing more young people into cybersecurity. I think this is something that you're really involved in. How are you helping to think about cyber as a career?
Yeah, so I'm very involved with a couple of charities. So one business in the community and another called Founders for Schools. Both amazing charities. They do support and guidance to students, providing insights into the wealth of opportunities available to them. this allows me to kind of get involved in secondary schools and occasionally primary schools, just kind of telling students about what is available in cyber. And of course, it doesn't always have to be technical, right? There are lots of other job functions that people can get involved in within that industry. And also, of course, sorry, a lot of those things have now become online. Historically, we'd be working in the classrooms and all that kind of stuff. But at CyberWhite, we've also partnered with a large secondary school, and we offer work placements and experience to year 10 students and year 12s as well, a part of their world of work. And again, it's just really trying to get them I think aware and get them at least to consider cyber as an option where they may not have considered it before. So yeah, there's lots we can do, and in isolation, these are all small things, right? But as they say, if we all play a part, then from small oaks do mighty oaks grow.
Yes, absolutely. So just leading on to something else which is also of interest to me, I think CyberWhite is supporting the Living Wage Foundation. How do you build a business while doing the right thing?
You take less yourself. I mean, seriously though, I mean, it's something that I'm absolutely passionate about, Phil. This to me should never be should we, shouldn't we, as a topic, and for me, this is absolutely embedded in everything we do. There are too many people, particularly in the Northeast, who are trapped in kind of living in working poverty. So everything looks okay, but you know what? Maybe under the surface, just because you're working doesn't mean that it is okay. And it kind of ties into that whole social mobility piece where people get defined because of where they live or the school they went to or what their parents have done. I think, there's some amazing talent out there. We have to nurture it. We have to pay people what they're worth, because people are your greatest asset. And I just think the living wage makes such great sense. Why wouldn't everybody do that?
No, absolutely. We need to be a decent wage economy, not a low wage economy. But my final question then, these are the next few months are going to be really interesting, what with COVID and all that. So what are your hopes in terms of future?
Well, I have many, and I wish I had a magic wand. But I think that the situation is far from being over, right? And there's probably going to be many more curveballs that are going to come our way. But I guess my ultimate hope is that the Northeast will continue to grow and prosper, and ultimately emerge economically stronger and better equipped to face whatever the future may hold, whilst of course being cyber secure. And I guess if CyberWhite can play a small part of that, then wouldn't that be fantastic?
That would be fantastic. So thank you very much for that, David. I'd also like to thank Robert Campbell, who's helped me to set up these in conversations. Look out for the next in the series. And if you're interested in taking part, please get in touch. Thank you very much, David.
Thanks, Phil.